Have you ever stopped to really think about how your priorities dramatically shift as the years roll by? The things that once felt absolutely essential, like keeping a huge circle of friends, might not hold the same magnetic pull anymore. And here's a truth that might just make your jaw drop: you don't actually need a ton of friends after you hit 70. Now, hold on a minute. I know that might sound surprising, even a little shocking at first. But stick with me, and when you take a closer look, a real look, you'll see why embracing independence and fiercely focusing on your own well-being can be one of the most liberating, the most empowering decisions you'll ever make. In this video, we're going to dive deep into 6 compelling reasons why friendships aren't as absolutely necessary in your later years as they once were. We'll uncover how your mindset, your personal freedom, and even your precious health can improve significantly when you release the burden of worrying about maintaining friendships that no longer truly serve you. Listen closely, this isn't about succumbing to loneliness. Absolutely not. This is about consciously choosing to live life on your own terms, completely free from the sometimes heavy weight of unnecessary expectations and obligations that can so easily come with social ties. Stay tuned, my friends, right until the very end, because you might just find that letting go of the relentless pressure to maintain a sprawling network of friendships isn't just freeing, it might just radically change the way you see yourself and your golden years for the absolute better. Now, let's get started with number 1, you no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. One of the biggest, most liberating reasons you don't need a huge posse of friends after 70 is that you've already bravely navigated the phase of life where social validation held so much sway. Think back, way back, to your younger days. How often did friendships revolve around the exhausting task of proving yourself, desperately trying to fit in, or relentlessly keeping up with the Joneses? Whether it was striving to impress colleagues, meticulously maintaining elaborate social circles, or agonizing over being included in every single gathering, there was always this underlying, often unspoken, pressure to be seen, to be accepted, to be validated. But now you're at a glorious stage in life where none of that frantic energy is necessary. You've already built your legacy, brick by hard-earned brick, and honestly, the fleeting opinions of others simply don't hold the same heavy weight they once did. At this age, you've seen enough, lived enough, to deeply understand that true, lasting fulfillment doesn't come from external applause. It blossoms from within your own heart. There's no longer any need to chase after friendships for some perceived status, a fleeting reputation, or a superficial social standing. You are who you are, in all your magnificent complexity, and you absolutely don't need anyone else's stamp of approval to confirm it. Think about it. So many younger people spend their precious time and energy consumed by worries about how they're perceived. Are they liked? Are they admired? Are they respected? But by the time you've reached your seasoned years, you finally, wonderfully realize that none of that truly defines your inherent worth. You, and only you, define your own value, and you certainly don't need a crowd of people around you to constantly reinforce that fundamental truth. Consider a man like Arthur, a distinguished gentleman in his early 70s who dedicated most of his life to fiercely climbing the corporate ladder. He was constantly surrounded by a throng of people, colleagues, casual acquaintances, so-called friends. But if he was truly honest with himself, most of those relationships were built on nothing more than convenience, a shared office, a mutual professional goal. The very moment he retired, those superficial friendships began to vanish like morning mist. At first, Arthur felt a pang of something. Was it loneliness? A sense of obligation? He felt the urge to reach out, to desperately try to keep those fragile ties alive. But then, a profound realization washed over him: why should he pour his precious energy into friendships that only ever existed because of work? Why chase after relationships that were never truly meaningful, never truly touched his soul? Instead of clinging to these hollow friendships out of habit, Arthur made a conscious, powerful shift in his focus. He started dedicating more time to his own personal hobbies, joyfully rediscovering old interests that had been long neglected. And most importantly, he finally, gloriously stopped caring about impressing others. he discovered that without the constant pressure of maintaining a facade for these shallow friendships, he actually felt freer than he had in decades. No more forced, awkward small talk. No more draining social obligations that left him feeling empty. No more agonizing over whether people liked him or not. He was simply, beautifully living for himself, and for the first time in what felt like forever, that felt incredibly, deeply good. And that, my friends, is the key. When you finally release the need for external validation, you begin to see with crystal clarity just how much precious energy was wasted on friendships that didn't actually add any real, lasting value to your life. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone anymore. You don't need to constantly strive to keep up with anyone else's expectations. The only person you truly need to answer to, the only opinion that truly matters, is your own. Number 2, peace becomes infinitely more valuable than relentless socializing. As you gracefully journey through life, something profound shifts within you. Peace, that precious, often elusive commodity, starts to feel infinitely more valuable than the constant whirlwind of socializing. In your younger years, being surrounded by people might have felt like an absolute necessity. The vibrant noise, the lively gatherings, the constant flow of conversations, it all felt like an integral part of a life lived to the fullest. But as time gently marches on, you begin to deeply appreciate something even more profound: quiet. And not just any ordinary quiet, but the kind of deep, soul-soothing quiet that allows you to truly be at ease, completely free from the relentless demands of unnecessary drama, draining obligations, and the often overwhelming weight of social fatigue. Let's be honest, many friendships, even the truly good ones, come with a certain level of responsibility. There are phone calls that need returning, invitations that feel obligatory to accept, and unspoken expectations to constantly navigate and maintain. It's not that friendships are inherently bad, not at all. It's just that at a certain point in your life, they can start to feel like more effort, more emotional output, than they're truly worth. The simple truth is this: you absolutely don't have to spend your precious time and energy trying to keep up with the relentless pace of others. You don't have to feel obligated to be constantly available just because someone else expects you to be. You've reached a glorious stage in life where your time is truly your own, a precious gift, and you, and only you, get to decide exactly how you want to spend it. Take Beverly, for instance. At the vibrant age of 74, she used to have a social calendar that was bursting at the seams: lunches with friends, endless group calls that felt more like gossip sessions, and holiday gatherings that left her utterly exhausted. Her calendar was always meticulously full. But as the years gracefully passed, she couldn't ignore a growing feeling: many of these social interactions felt draining, utterly depleting, rather than genuinely fulfilling. The conversations started to feel repetitive, the same old stories being retold, the same complaints aired again and again. Some friends only seemed to call when they needed something, while others were far more interested in spreading the latest gossip than engaging in any kind of meaningful discussion. The genuine joy of companionship had slowly, almost imperceptibly, morphed into a tedious routine she no longer enjoyed. Then, one day, Beverly made a powerful decision. She decided to step back, to consciously reclaim her time and energy. She stopped feeling that nagging guilt for politely saying no to invitations that didn't genuinely excite her. She gracefully let go of the relentless pressure to respond to every single call or text message immediately. Instead, she started to truly embrace the profound beauty of quiet. She discovered that the time she had once spent managing a complex web of friendships was now hers, completely hers, to use exactly as she pleased. She started taking longer, more mindful walks in nature, spent peaceful afternoons tending to her beloved garden, and finally dove into the towering stack of books she had been meaning to read for years. And most importantly, she had a profound realization: solitude wasn't lonely at all. It was deeply, wonderfully peaceful. And that, my friends, is the profound beauty of this stage in life. You are no longer obligated to fill your days with constant activity or endless conversation just to feel a fleeting sense of connection. You get to truly enjoy your own company, without the constant need for external validation from others. You get to consciously choose peace over pressure, a sense of profound calm over the relentless chaos of a busy social life. So, if you've ever felt that twinge of guilt for pulling back from certain social obligations, please, remember this: you are not withdrawing from life itself. You are embracing a new, deeply personal kind of fulfillment. The kind that blossoms from within your own soul, the kind that doesn't rely on the fleeting presence or approval of anyone else. And that kind of profound, inner peace? It's something that only deepens and enriches with each passing year. If you're still with me, still finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, I wholeheartedly recommend you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's move on to number 3, fewer friendships mean fewer disappointments. One of the hardest, yet most valuable, lessons life teaches us is the often painful realization that not everyone you affectionately call a friend is truly there for you when the chips are down. Over the years, you've likely experienced it firsthand: people who were once incredibly close suddenly drifting away, friends who became inexplicably distant precisely when you needed their support the most, or relationships that tragically turned out to be overwhelmingly one-sided. And by the time you reach the seasoned age of 70, a profound understanding begins to dawn: fewer friendships don't just mean fewer social obligations cluttering your calendar. They also, and perhaps more importantly, mean significantly fewer opportunities for heart-wrenching disappointments. Friendships, no matter how seemingly strong or enduring, inevitably come with a subtle undercurrent of expectations. There's the unspoken expectation to check in regularly, to be readily available at a moment's notice, to offer unwavering support during tough times. But what happens, all too often, when those expectations are not met? The answer, my friends, is disappointment. You reach out to someone, pouring your heart out, but they don't bother to call back. You make a genuine effort to connect, to offer help, but they don't reciprocate, leaving you feeling utterly unseen. You find yourself constantly giving, while receiving little to nothing in return. And at this precious stage in your life, do you really, truly need that kind of unnecessary stress, that emotional imbalance? The answer, resounding and clear, is no. Consider a man named Franklin, a wise soul of 78 who has witnessed countless friendships gracefully enter and sadly exit his life. Some ended naturally, the gentle fading of shared interests. Others simply withered away because he finally acknowledged the painful truth: he was always, consistently, the one putting in all the effort. There were people he had known for decades, sharing countless memories, who suddenly became inexplicably too busy, too distracted, or simply too uninterested to maintain any semblance of a real, meaningful connection. At first, it stung, didn't it? He couldn't help but wonder what he had done wrong, why certain people he had cherished seemed to so easily forget about him. But then, a powerful realization bloomed within him: he wasn't the one who had fundamentally changed. He had simply, and bravely, stopped tolerating friendships that were glaringly, painfully not mutual. That's the profound truth, my friends. When you courageously let go of the ingrained idea that you absolutely need a large, bustling group of friends surrounding you, you also, wonderfully, release yourself from the inevitable disappointments that come hand in hand with unmet expectations. You no longer have to feel that familiar pang of frustration when someone doesn't bother to check in, doesn't remember your birthday, or isn't there for you in a moment of genuine need. You don't have to feel that familiar wave of being let down when a friendship, once vibrant, slowly but surely fades away. Instead, you gain the precious opportunity to wholeheartedly focus on the most important person in your life, yourself. And listen closely, this doesn't mean you have to retreat into complete isolation, becoming a hermit in your own home. Absolutely not. It simply means that you are consciously, deliberately choosing quality over mere quantity. Instead of desperately trying to maintain a long, exhausting list of casual acquaintances, you prioritize the precious relationships that truly matter, the ones that effortlessly bring you genuine joy and require no constant, draining effort to sustain. Whether that's your loving family, a cherished lifelong friend who understands you to your core, or even just a deep, fulfilling connection with your own inner self, those are the relationships that truly count, the ones that nourish your soul. So, if you've ever felt like certain friendships have brought more stress, more heartache, than genuine joy into your life, please, remind yourself that it is absolutely okay, even wonderfully liberating, to step back. It's okay to consciously choose simplicity over unnecessary complexity, profound peace over constant frustration. You don't need a sprawling list of friends to feel truly fulfilled. You just need the courage to let go of the ones who were never truly there for you in the first place. Number 4. Your time becomes your most precious, non-renewable resource. As you gracefully age, a profound truth becomes crystal clear: time is, without a doubt, your most valuable, your most utterly non-renewable resource. In your younger years, it may have felt like there was an endless ocean of time stretching out before you, more time to spend with friends, more time to invest in sprawling social circles, more time to fret and worry about who was in your life and who wasn't. But by the time you reach the seasoned age of 70, your perspective undergoes a fundamental shift. You begin to truly see that every single hour, every precious day, every fleeting moment is an absolute gift, a treasure to be cherished. And when you deeply understand the true, irreplaceable value of your time, you naturally, instinctively become far more selective, far more discerning, about exactly how you choose to spend it. Friendships, as wonderfully fulfilling as they can be, also undeniably require a significant investment of your precious time and energy. There are calls to make, visits to meticulously schedule, plans to carefully keep. And while some truly deep and meaningful connections are absolutely worth maintaining, many are simply habits we've carried forward from the past, relationships we keep going out of a sense of obligation rather than genuine, heartfelt enjoyment. At this precious stage in your life, you have the absolute right, the earned privilege, to ask yourself a crucial question: is this truly how I want to spend my limited, invaluable time? Does this particular friendship genuinely add to my overall happiness and well-being, or does it increasingly feel like just another item on an already lengthy to-do list, another obligation weighing you down? Think about a kind gentleman named Walter, a man in his early 80s who once had an incredibly active social life, filled with frequent dinner parties, regular group outings, and lengthy phone calls that stretched on for hours. But over time, a subtle yet profound shift began to occur within him. The long, drawn-out conversations that once felt enjoyable now felt increasingly draining, leaving him feeling more depleted than connected. The social gatherings that used to spark excitement now often felt like tedious obligations he couldn't wait to escape. Then, one day, as he politely sat through yet another lengthy lunch filled with superficial small talk and endless complaints, a powerful realization struck him with the force of a gentle wave: he simply didn't want to spend his precious, dwindling time this way anymore. And so, he made the conscious, liberating change. He stopped saying yes out of ingrained habit and started saying a firm but polite no when he genuinely didn't feel like going out or engaging in draining social interactions. Instead of spending hours catching up on the latest gossip or patiently listening to a litany of complaints, he deliberately dedicated his precious time to things that truly brought him profound joy, losing himself in a captivating book, taking long, invigorating walks in the crisp air, diligently learning new skills that sparked his curiosity, and simply savoring the profound peace of his own quiet company. And here's the surprising, wonderful part: he didn't feel lonely at all. In fact, he felt more genuinely fulfilled than he had in years, precisely because he was finally spending his invaluable time in ways that truly mattered to him, not in ways that others expected or demanded. That, my friends, is the profound key. When you bravely let go of unnecessary friendships that drain your energy and steal your precious time, you gain something far, far more valuable in return: time for yourself. Time to finally pursue the passions that ignite your soul. Time to savor the simple joys of life at your own unhurried pace. Time to fiercely focus on your own happiness and well-being, instead of constantly striving to meet the endless needs and expectations of others. So, If you ever find yourself questioning whether you should continue to keep up with certain friendships that feel more like a burden than a blessing, ask yourself this crucial question: is this truly the best, most fulfilling use of my precious, irreplaceable time? Because at this stage in your remarkable life, you absolutely don't owe your time to anyone. You've earned the glorious right to use it exactly, and only, as you choose. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights truly valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're still with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I wholeheartedly recommend you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future content. Your incredible support helps us continue creating good, informative, and inspiring content just for you. Now, let's move forward to number 5, true companionship comes from within. One of the biggest, most persistent misconceptions about gracefully getting older is the ingrained belief that you absolutely need a large, bustling circle of friends surrounding you to be truly happy. But the profound truth, the liberating secret, is that the most important, the most enduring, companionship you can ever have is the one you cultivate and nurture with yourself. By the time you reach the seasoned age of 70, you've spent 7 glorious decades learning, growing, and evolving into the unique and wonderful individual you are. You know yourself, your deepest desires, your quirky habits, your enduring strengths, better than anyone else on this entire planet ever could. And with that hard-earned self-awareness comes an incredible, empowering realization: you are, in and of yourself, wonderfully enough. For the vast majority of our lives, we're subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, taught to constantly seek companionship outside of ourselves. We're told that being relentlessly social is the ultimate key to happiness, that solitude is something to be feared, something to be actively avoided. But there's a crucial, fundamental difference between simply being alone and feeling truly, deeply lonely. In fact, some of the happiest, most content people in their later years are those who have consciously embraced solitude, not as a form of forced isolation, but as a precious, invaluable opportunity for profound self-discovery, deep reflection, and a sense of unparalleled inner peace. Consider a vibrant woman named Beatrice, a spirited soul of 76 who used to firmly believe that she needed to constantly surround herself with a flurry of people to feel truly fulfilled. She was always diligently making plans, endlessly checking in on a vast network of friends, meticulously filling her days with a whirlwind of activity. But after a while, a nagging feeling began to surface, a quiet unease she couldn't quite ignore. Despite being constantly, outwardly social, she often felt strangely drained, even a little empty, rather than genuinely uplifted and connected. She gradually realized that many of her friendships were based more on ingrained routine, a shared history, than on any deep, genuine connection in the present. And even worse, she found herself constantly, subtly adjusting her own thoughts, her own opinions, her own very being, just to seamlessly fit into conversations, to tirelessly keep up with unspoken social expectations, to desperately avoid that dreaded feeling of being left out. Then, one day, she simply stopped. She made a conscious decision to start spending time with herself in the same loving, nurturing way she would with a dear, cherished friend. She started doing things she truly loved, listening intently to her own inner thoughts, and simply savoring the quiet joy of her own company. She took long, leisurely walks in the park without feeling the immediate need to call someone to share the experience. She started frequenting cozy cafes with a beloved book as her companion instead of forcing awkward small talk with casual acquaintances. She spent peaceful, introspective evenings quietly reflecting on the rich tapestry of her life instead of feeling obligated to maintain friendships out of a sense of duty. And to her utter surprise and delight, she felt lighter, happier, and more profoundly at peace than she had in years. That's the profound truth that so many people fail to grasp. True, lasting companionship isn't about the sheer number of people you have surrounding you. It's about how deeply comfortable, how truly at home, you feel within your own skin. When you finally stop relying on external sources for constant entertainment, fleeting validation, or endless conversation, you unlock a remarkable level of inner freedom that most people never even experience. You no longer need external distractions to fill every waking moment. You become your own inexhaustible source of joy, profound wisdom, and deep, unwavering fulfillment. And here's the beautiful, almost magical part: when you truly, authentically enjoy your own company, you naturally attract relationships that are effortless, that flow organically into your life. Instead of desperately chasing after friendships out of a fear of loneliness, you'll find that the right people, the truly kindred spirits, naturally gravitate towards you. People who deeply respect your personal space, who fundamentally understand your core values, and who bring a sense of genuine peace and joy into your life, rather than adding more pressure or obligation. So, if you've ever worried that consciously letting go of certain friendships might leave you feeling isolated or alone, please, remember this profound truth: the best, most reliable company you can ever have is already residing within you. And when you finally, fully embrace that incredible reality, you'll realize that you were never truly alone in the first place. Number 6. Letting go opens the door to a more profoundly fulfilling life. One of the most powerful, most liberating things you can do after you gracefully reach the age of 70 is to consciously, deliberately let go. Let go of the relentless pressure to maintain friendships that no longer spark joy or bring genuine connection into your life. Let go of the outdated idea that your social circle somehow defines your inherent worth as a human being. Let go of the pervasive, often fear-based belief that being alone inevitably equates to being lonely. Because the very moment you courageously release yourself from these heavy, unnecessary expectations, you open a wide, welcoming door to a life that is undeniably simpler, gloriously freer, and far, far more profoundly fulfilling than you might ever have imagined. So many people, good-hearted souls, cling to old friendships out of sheer habit, even when those relationships have long since ceased to add any real, positive value to their precious lives. They dutifully attend social gatherings they don't actually enjoy, answer phone calls out of a sense of obligation rather than genuine desire, and meticulously keep up appearances simply because that's what they've always done. But what if you didn't have to do any of that anymore? What if you gave yourself explicit permission, a heartfelt blessing, to consciously let go of the friendships that increasingly feel like arduous work, like a heavy weight you're constantly carrying, and instead fiercely focused your precious time and energy on the things that truly, deeply bring you happiness and a sense of profound inner peace? Consider a thoughtful gentleman named Edgar, a man in his late 70s who once firmly believed that staying relentlessly socially active was the absolute key to aging well, to somehow staving off the inevitable. He diligently made a concerted effort to constantly keep in touch with a vast network of old friends, even when those friendships had become undeniably distant, even superficial. He meticulously filled his days with a packed schedule of social obligations, mistakenly thinking that staying constantly busy was the same as feeling truly fulfilled. But then, one day, a quiet yet powerful realization dawned on him: he wasn't actually enjoying any of it. The conversations felt increasingly repetitive, the social gatherings felt like tedious routines he simply had to endure, and deep down, in the quiet corners of his heart, he felt more utterly exhausted than genuinely connected. So, with a newfound sense of clarity and courage, he made a transformative choice. He consciously stopped forcing friendships that no longer felt meaningful or authentic. Instead, he started deliberately prioritizing the things that truly resonated with his soul, spending more time immersed in the beauty of the outdoors, fiercely focusing on nurturing his own physical and mental health, diligently learning new skills that sparked his intellectual curiosity, and joyfully embracing the profound freedom that came with no longer having to constantly meet anyone else's expectations. And in doing so, he discovered something truly incredible: he felt lighter, happier, and more profoundly at peace with himself and his life than he had felt in decades. That, my friends, is the remarkable power of letting go. It doesn't mean closing yourself off from the world or becoming a recluse in your own home. It simply means consciously creating precious space in your life for what truly fulfills you, what genuinely nourishes your soul. It means bravely recognizing that your deepest, most authentic happiness isn't inextricably tied to the sheer number of people you have surrounding you, but rather to how deeply aligned you are with the life you actually, truly want to live, on your own terms. And here's what wonderfully happens when you fully embrace this liberating mindset. You stop endlessly worrying about who is currently in your life and instead start joyfully focusing on what genuinely brings you inner peace and lasting joy. You begin to truly appreciate the simple, often overlooked, beauties of life, waking up to a quiet, peaceful morning, wholeheartedly enjoying a beloved hobby without the constant distraction of social commitments, feeling a deep sense of contentment and peace with your own thoughts and your own company. You finally realize that true, lasting fulfillment doesn't stem from dutifully maintaining friendships out of obligation, but rather from consciously living your life in a way that feels deeply natural, authentically meaningful, and wonderfully true to your own unique spirit. So, if you've ever felt that nagging sense of obligation, that you should be doing more to constantly maintain a sprawling network of friendships, please, ask yourself this crucial question: is it truly adding to my genuine happiness and well-being, or am I simply holding on out of ingrained habit or fear? Because once you give yourself permission to bravely let go of what no longer serves you, you'll discover that life becomes undeniably simpler, gloriously lighter, and far more profoundly fulfilling in ways you might never have expected. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights deeply valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're still here and engaged. And if you haven't already, I wholeheartedly recommend you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Your incredible support helps us continue creating good, insightful content to inform and inspire you on your journey. Final thoughts: as we gently wrap up this video, please take a quiet moment to truly reflect on everything we've discussed. The core idea that you don't necessarily need a huge circle of friends after the age of 70 isn't about succumbing to isolation or loneliness. It's about embracing a profound sense of personal freedom. It's about consciously letting go of unnecessary obligations that drain your precious energy, deliberately choosing inner peace over the relentless pressure of constant socializing, and ultimately, joyfully embracing the authentic life you truly, deeply want to live, on your own terms. By now, you've hopefully seen how bravely stepping away from friendships that no longer truly serve you can actually usher in more genuine joy, more precious time for yourself, and a deeper sense of profound fulfillment than you might ever have thought possible. What stood out to you the most in today's discussion? Which of these 6 compelling reasons resonated most deeply with your own experiences or your current perspective? Perhaps you've already begun to consciously let go of friendships that felt more like work than genuine connection. Maybe you've already joyfully noticed how much you truly enjoy your own company when you give yourself the precious chance. Or perhaps this video has simply offered you a fresh, new perspective on why it's absolutely okay, even wonderfully liberating, to prioritize your own well-being and your own inner peace in your golden years. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a thoughtful comment below and share just one key thing you learned from this video today and how you might plan to use it in your own life moving forward. Your valuable thoughts and insights are incredibly important to us, so please don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments truly gives us great motivation and encouragement to continue creating content that resonates with you. If you genuinely enjoyed this video and found it to be helpful or insightful, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more empowering content, and share it with anyone you think might benefit from this message. Your incredible support helps us continue creating good, informative, and inspiring videos just for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we eagerly look forward to seeing you in our next video. Valuable lesson: embrace the freedom of your later years by prioritizing inner peace and genuine connections over maintaining a large social circle out of obligation. True fulfillment comes from self-acceptance and focusing on what truly brings you joy. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content on aging well and living a fulfilling life.